As San Francisco public schools are still trying to finalize plans to bring students back to class, one private school in the city has been doing hybrid learning since January. Joining us now is the principal of Mission Dolores Academy, Meredith Essalat. Meredith, good to have you on this afternoon. Appreciate you taking the time to talk about what things look like at your school. So how many of your students are back in classrooms for in-person learning, and what are the steps that you had to take to get things reopened?
It's really nice to be here, Alex. Thank you for having me. We currently have 40 students on campus who enrolled to participate in in-person learning, which started back in January. The majority of our students are still remote, which I attribute to the success and the robustness of our remote learning program that we've been doing since March. Our campus looks very different than under normal circumstances. I have to thank the Department of Public Health for really helping us in terms of mapping out 6 feet of distance between desks, one-way hallways to prevent cross-contamination of students passing one another, hand washing stations, hand sanitizers, industrial fans. It's been a process, but we are really pleased with how the rollout has been going.
So everyone, you're doing masking when folks are on campus there. You have a plan for regular testing, and what do you do if there is potentially some sort of an outbreak or a case that might be linked to the school community?
That's a great question. We actually did have a community member who tested positive, and we handled it according to Department of Public Health guidelines. They're very specific and very easy to follow in terms of contact tracing and notifications. So we took classes offline for 2 weeks. Students went back into remote learning full time and assumed that routine, which has been established since the beginning of the year. And then after everybody had tested and test came back negative, we brought everyone back on campus again.
Obviously, you alluded to this, but across the country, so many students they have fallen behind when it comes to their education because they're doing distance learning. But you say at your school, your students they're on track, they're on grade level, they're keeping up with the curriculum. What is it that you are doing differently when it comes to the distance learning model?
You know, when we started back on March 12th with the school closure and beginning remote learning, my teachers were prepared, they were ready. Our platform has evolved, but our students are from 3rd through 8th grade, they are working through synchronous learning from 8 until 4 o'clock respectively. Our kindergarten through 2nd graders are working through both large and small group instruction to really individualize our approach with them. Our blended learning is really helping to support individual student pathways, and our full curriculum has been evolved to being allowed online. So we have ELA and math to art, PE, music, and Latin. We're giving our students everything that we would if we were in person, because we want to buck the trend that is being predicted. We want to stem learning loss, and from benchmark data that we're getting from our blended learning platforms, our students are continuing to grow and progress, and we are so proud of that.
All right, finally here, obviously you've heard the ongoing debate over trying to get public schools reopened here in California, and a lot of people have pointed to private schools like yours being able to bring kids back successfully. Do you feel like, though, that it's sort of apples and oranges in some ways? You're dealing with a smaller number of kids than larger public schools with fewer resources as well here. Do you feel like your model can necessarily translate over to public schools?
Absolutely. I mean, the model that we're following is in accordance with the San Francisco Department of Public Health, which is what San Francisco Unified will be following as well. It's an arduous process. For one school like ours to replicate this for a large district like San Francisco and school districts across the state, it's a big deal. There's a lot of work that goes into it. My best advice is to block and tackle, to just start with looking at the PPE that's required, start putting together priorities for how you are going to ensure that teaching staff and students, and by way of that, families, are safe and protected. And at the end of the day, the best thing is to have students walk onto campus and just be so excited and so enthusiastic to see their teachers, to see one another, and to start to have the routine back again.
Yeah, well, so many families, so many educators looking forward to that moment, watching students return to campus. Hopefully it happens soon for a lot of folks in this state. Appreciate your time. Thank you for talking about the experience you have there. This is the principal of Mission Dolores Academy, Meredith Essalat. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Alex.
Take care.